Coming off a bye last week, the 2-3 Missouri Tigers kick off tomorrow afternoon against number 18 Florida. KOMU8's Corey Miller is live in Gainesville with more on tomorrow's game at the Swamp. Corey, what do you got?
Thanks, Jim. Now, the Florida Gators are definitely not short on Heisman-winning quarterbacks in their history. There's Danny Wuerffel, Steve Spurrier, the old ball coach, Sans Visor in this bust outside Ben Hill Griffin Stadium, and some outfielder for the Mets named Tim Tebow. Maybe you've heard of him. But since Tebow's gone, they've had a hard time filling the mantle of finding that next-rate Florida quarterback. What's not been hard, though, is finding that next-rate Florida defense. It seems to happen every year, especially this year, too. Mizzou head coach Barry Odom knows they're going to be a tough test.
They're very athletic, play extremely hard. I think that the structure of the things that they do, they can take away part of your offense by a couple of the guys that got lined up on the perimeter. This with the way they play, they're really good.
Now, the Florida defense already has 19 sacks on the season, so one of the key matchups tomorrow will be that defensive line against a young offensive line of Mizzou, which has played pretty well so far this year. Reporting live in Gainesville, Corey Miller, KOMU8 Sports. Back to you, Jim.
Coming off a tough loss to LSU, the Missouri Tigers have quite the task ahead of them with today's game against Florida. We now go live to KOMU8's Corey Miller, who is live outside the Swamp at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Corey, what do you have for us?
Thanks, Landon. Welcome back to the Swamp here in Gainesville, where the Mizzou Tigers will take on these Florida Gators later today at 3 p.m. Central Time here at Ben Hill Griffin Stadium. Folks here in Gainesville are just ready for some football this weekend after last weekend's contest against LSU got postponed due to Hurricane Matthew. Florida offense also has to be licking its chops at the thought of facing this Mizzou defense, which was torched for over 600 yards against LSU in their last time out 2 weeks ago down in Baton Rouge. Some more good news for Florida. They get their quarterback back this week as well. Luke Del Rio, he's back from an injury that he suffered in week 3. That should help stabilize the Florida offense. But it's not all good news for Florida. Mizzou does hold the overall record in this rivalry 3-2, including a win here in 2014 in the Swamp. It was the Marcus Murphy show. He had a kickoff return touchdown, a punt return touchdown, and a rushing touchdown here against the Gators. So these Tigers today will be looking to channel some more of that Murphy magic from 2014. For now in Gainesville, reporting in the Swamp, Corey Miller, KOMU8 Sports.
Thank you, Corey. Thank goodness that Gator isn't real. Mizzou football is kicking off this afternoon at 3 p.m. in Gainesville, Florida. We'll send it back over to the fellas in Gainesville for one last live update. Guys?
Thanks, Landon. Welcome back to the Swamp one last time. I'm here with Nick Yale. And Nick, one of the biggest matchups in this one's going to occur in the trenches between Mizzou's offensive line, Florida's defensive line. How do you see that matchup shaping up?
Well, like you said, it's going to be a big matchup. The Florida defensive line, 19 sacks so far on the season. But Missouri, they've been doing a good job protecting Drew Lock, only been up 3 sacks so far on the season. That's going to be a big matchup. Very interested to see how that one keys out.
Now, Drew Lock and the offense were pretty high-flying in the first couple games of the year against lesser competition nonetheless, against not quality, really SEC opponents. But they kind of looked out of sorts against LSU. What do they have to do to get back on track today against Florida?
Well, that's just playing in the SEC. I think the Missouri Tiger wide receivers, what they need to do if they want to have a chance today is they need to make space against those tough corners. Florida has 2 of the best corners in the country, and if they can make that space, they might have a little bit of an opportunity. Drew Lock has the arm. We know that. We saw that against Eastern Michigan and Delaware State, like you were saying, but this is Florida rather. This is SEC. It's going to be tough.
Now, Mizzou does hold the all-time record in this matchup against Florida, 3-2, winning here in the Swamp in 2014 even. Do you have any predictions? How do you see this one shaping up in the end?
Well, much like that LSU game, it's homecoming here for Florida. This crowd's going to be loud, and plus they get their quarterback Luke Del Rio back. I think that's going to give Florida a spark. I think it's going to be too much. Florida 24. I think Missouri might score a touchdown, but that Florida defense is going to be too much. Florida wins 24-10.
Thanks, Nick. That's it from us here in Gainesville at the Swamp. For Nick Yale, I'm Corey Miller, reporting live. This was KOMU8 News.